At the beginning of the series, a group of delinquent boys is seen beating up a boy named Jun-soo on the rooftop of a building. Suddenly, something strange happens to Jun-soo. His body begins to change, and he turns into a zombie, trying to bite the bullies. In the chaos, Jun-soo falls off the building. In the next scene, Jun-soo wakes up in a hospital, where his father is standing beside him. It's revealed that Jun-soo's condition is the result of his father's experiments. Mr. Lee had been testing a mysterious medicine on both rats and his own son at the same time. Realizing that his son is now a danger to the world, Mr. Lee decides to end his life. However, as he is taking Jun-soo's body out of the hospital, Jun-soo suddenly comes back to life and attacks his father. The scene shifts to a school, where a girl wakes up in Mr. Lee's lab. Hearing a strange noise, she discovers an adorable white rat and starts playing with it. But the rat bites her. It's the same rat that Mr. Lee had experimented on with the same medicine he used on his son. At that moment, Mr. Lee enters the lab and, seeing that the rat has bitten the girl, decides she can't leave. He ties her up in the lab to contain the situation. Next, the series introduces a group of bullies at the school, the same boys who had attacked Jun-soo on the rooftop. They are now seen harassing a girl and recording the incident. A few days later, when the girl from the lab doesn't show up, her teacher questions the class about her whereabouts. Suddenly, the girl stumbles into the classroom in a wounded state and reveals that Mr. Lee is responsible for her condition. A student named Zoyuk carries her to the emergency treatment room, but her condition deteriorates rapidly. An ambulance arrives and takes her to the hospital. Here, we learn that the series' main character, An-jo, has a father who works in the rescue team. Soon, the police arrive at the school and arrest Mr. Lee. As the school break begins, the story shifts to the medical teacher, who starts acting strangely in her office. The bullies notice her odd behavior and begin recording her on their phones. Suddenly, she attacks them, biting one of the boys and turning him into a zombie like her. It's revealed that during the treatment in the lab, the girl who had been bitten by the rat had also bitten the teacher, spreading the infection further. This marks the beginning of chaos, as the infection spreads rapidly through the school, setting the stage for an intense and suspenseful storyline. Within minutes, the entire school descends into chaos as almost everyone transforms into zombies. The scene is nothing short of chilling. Amidst the pandemonium, the girl who was bullied by the group of boys and whose video they filmed is shown standing on the rooftop, about to jump and end her life. But before she does, she notices students breaking windows and leaping out of classrooms to escape the carnage below. The scene then cuts to the hospital, where the infected girl from the lab is brought in. Once there, she bites two doctors, turning them into zombies. Chaos erupts as the infection spreads rapidly, turning the hospital into another epicenter of horror. Meanwhile, back at the school, the few uninfected students manage to barricade themselves inside a classroom. They frantically call the police to report that the entire school has been overrun by zombies. However, the police dismiss their claim as a prank and hang up. Desperate, An-jo calls the fire department, claiming there's a fire at the school. Her father, who is part of the rescue team, immediately rushes toward the school with his team. In the meantime, the uninfected students use a computer in the classroom to check the security cameras. They are horrified to discover that the zombie outbreak has spread beyond the school, engulfing the entire city. The scene shifts to An-jo's father, who is rescuing a VIP official trapped inside a building. One of the VIP's assistants has already turned into a zombie, but the father manages to protect the official and get him to the rooftop. A helicopter arrives to evacuate the VIP and An-jo's father, taking them to a secure military base. Though safe, he is torn by his desire to return to the school to rescue his daughter. Back at the school, the leader of the bully group is shown fleeing from zombies. He ends up in the principal's office, where the principal orders him to retrieve his car from the garage. A heated argument breaks out between them. Just then, another student named Se-seung, also fleeing zombies, enters the office. The bully leader tries to kill the principal in frustration, but Se-seung stops him and begins recording the incident on his phone. Ignoring Se-seung, the bully kills the principal and then chases Se-seung to snatch the phone. Meanwhile, at the police station, An officer interrogates Mr. Lee and discovers he is a renowned scientist. Suddenly, zombies overrun the station. Mr. Lee tells the officer that an antidote formula is stored on a laptop in the school lab. He urges the officer to escape and retrieve it while he stays behind to fight off the zombies. Back at the school, Se-seung hides in the library, but the area is already swarming with zombies. The bully leader finds him there, and the two engage in a brutal fight amidst the chaos. Se-seung strikes the bully with a phone, damaging his eye. Soon after, zombies capture the bully leader, allowing Se-seung to escape the library. The story spirals deeper into chaos, setting the stage for a desperate struggle for survival in a world overrun by the undead. Meanwhile, Anjo's father, determined to save his daughter, knocks out two guards, steals their uniforms, and escapes. However, the army spots him and opens fire. Luckily, he manages to evade them by jumping into a river. Elsewhere, the bully leader, previously thought dead, is shown alive but severely injured. Surprisingly, the zombie infection hasn't affected him. His immune system is apparently stronger than the zombie virus. Desperate for answers, he confronts Se-seung, demanding information about Se-seung. When Se-seung refuses, a fight ensues. As they clash, Se-seung's friend arrives and tries to protect him, but the bully bites her in retaliation. In the scuffle, Se-seung manages to push the bully off the building, seemingly ending his threat. On another front, the police officer is seen fleeing for his life from zombies. During his escape, he encounters a student hiding nearby. The student informs him about Mr. Lee's claim. The antidote for the zombie virus is stored on a laptop in the school lab. Understanding the gravity of the situation, the officer decides to help spread this information, even if he doesn't survive. They take refuge in a shop, where they find a little girl whose mother has already turned into a zombie. Compassionately, they take her along. During this chaos, a YouTuber enters the picture. He's in the city to create content and boost his subscribers by documenting the zombie outbreak. The officer and his group join forces with the YouTuber, and they all board a bus to escape. However, their journey takes a dramatic turn when they hit a girl on the road. While tending to the situation, the army arrives and fires on them, mistaking them for infected. The group quickly surrenders and explains their situation, emphasizing that Mr. Lee revealed the antidote is on the school lab's laptop. Convinced by their explanation, the army dispatches a team to the school to retrieve the laptop. Meanwhile, at the school, a rescue helicopter lands on the roof to extract the laptop. However, back at the army camp, the girl involved in the bus accident is revealed to be an infected human zombie. As she loses control, she attacks everyone in the camp, creating a terrifying scene of mayhem. The army successfully retrieves the laptop from the school lab. But when they prepare to evacuate the uninfected students waiting on the roof, their senior officer refuses to let any of them board. The dire situation across the city has already overwhelmed resources, and the officer prioritizes the mission over the students' lives, leaving them stranded amidst the outbreak. This sets the stage for an intense and emotional climax, as survival becomes an ever more desperate struggle against the growing tide of chaos. Anjo's father, determined to rescue his daughter, finally reaches the school. Inside, the remaining students gather in one place, desperate to escape. As they attempt to flee through the back door, they are ambushed by a horde of zombies. Just when it seems all hope is lost, Anjo's father arrives and opens the locked door from the outside. He leads the students out of the school, but the zombies relentlessly pursue them. Meanwhile, the army formulates a grim plan to bomb the city, realizing the zombie outbreak is spreading too rapidly to contain. They decide that drastic measures are necessary to prevent the infection from overtaking the entire region. Back at the school, Anjo's father and the students find themselves surrounded by zombies. Realizing there is no other way to save them, he takes a light bomb in his hand and lures the zombies toward himself, sacrificing his life in a massive explosion. His selfless act allows the students to escape and find refuge in a nearby building. However, their reprieve is short-lived as the bully leader, still alive and seeking revenge against Se-seung for blinding his eye, shows up. A brutal fight ensues between the two, but before it reaches a conclusion, a military helicopter arrives and drops a bomb on the city. The massive explosion shakes the ground, destroying many zombies and the surrounding areas. The surviving students, now desperate for food and supplies, venture into the city. Despite the danger, they decide to face the zombies head-on. The battle is intense, but some of the students succumb to the infection and transform into zombies. Among them is the girl bitten by the bully leader, who now fully embraces her zombie nature. Overcome by her instincts, she flees from the group and begins feeding on another zombie. Se-seung and An-jo witness this horrifying transformation, confirming that she can no longer be saved. The remaining students eventually make their way to an army camp, where they are quarantined for 2 months. During this time, they reflect on their losses and the traumatic events they endured. After the quarantine ends, they are finally released. As they return to their devastated city, An-jo climbs a hill and notices a fire still burning in the school building. She convinces Se-seung and the others to join her in investigating. They climb to the rooftop and are shocked to find the girl bitten by the bully leader still alive. She reveals chilling news. There are many others like her now, blending in with humans but driven by zombie instincts. The season ends on this ominous note, leaving the fate of the survivors and the world hanging in the balance.